Welcome everyone. Welcome to week 1 grammar exercise. Okay, so I'm going to create a short video and all you have to do is listen and watch this video and then do the exercise afterwards. Super short. Okay, so today's topic is comma errors. Do you ever feel insecure about comma rules when you're writing? Many writers do. There is a good reason for this. There are many different comma rules in English, and some of them have exceptions. Comma rules also may vary in different varieties of English, such as British and American English, and may change over time. In this lesson, we will look at 3 most common errors made in comma usage and writing. These do not cover every comma rule in English, but they are the most frequent and typical errors. If you master these 3 rules, you will probably eliminate 90% or more of the comma errors in your writing. Okay, so first, let's talk about the purpose of a comma. How is its purpose different that of a period or a semicolon? So you should know the difference between a comma, a semicolon, and a period. And once you think you know the difference, then we should go ahead, okay? So general definition, commas are typically used to separate ideas within a sentence for clear communication. Most common problem with commas are that people overuse commas. They adding them where unnecessary, underusing commas, omitting them when they are necessary, and then it creates confusion. If you don't use commas correctly, you can change the meaning of the sentence. The challenge, in many cases, whether or not you should add a comma is a matter of subjective judgment about sentence clarity. Those are not the cases that we will be discussing here. This can make it harder for writers to decide about them, so they either sprinkle them everywhere or hardly use them. The good news is there are some comma rules that are predictable and fairly easy to learn, and that's what we will focus on now. So, comma rule number 1, insert a comma between an introductory element and the rest of the sentence. And when I say sentence, I am thinking of an independent clause with a subject and a predicate, okay? So what is an introductory element? In the 3 examples below, the introductory elements are bolded and the main body of the sentence is underlined. So look at it. Therefore, one should always come to class every day. So this is the introductory element here. Last July, my children and I took a trip to the Canadian Rockies. Again, this is the introductory element here. Although my husband couldn't come, we still had a very fun trip. Now, if you see over here, this part, one should always come to class every day. Simple sentence, right? It's an independent clause in its own. My children and I took a trip to the Canadian Rockies. Again, you can read that sentence like, oh, it's a complete sentence. That is a good indicator that you have to insert a comma before it, right? Because there is an element that is hanging before it, okay? This rule is very simple. Whenever you have one of these 3 introductory elements, use a comma to see it off from the rest of the sentence. Whether you have a subordinating conjunction or like therefore, although, or you have words like lastly, finally, firstly, secondly, those are all introductory elements. Okay, comma rule number 2. Insert a comma before a coordinating conjunction. What is a coordinating conjunction? Your fanboys. It is a word which joins 2 sentences, 2 complete sentences, right? So you may know the acronym fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or yet. So to help you remember that these are your coordinating conjunctions. You might know this, you might not know this. But in practice, the most commonly used coordinating conjunction is and, followed by but, and or. These are the most commonly used coordinating conjunctions. Here's the key element of this rule. A fanboy word is only a coordinated conjunction when it separates two complete sentences. If it is not separating two complete sentences, then it is not working as a coordinating conjunction. So here's look at the following examples. We got to walk around on a glacier, but we didn't get to stay very long. So if you look at this part, before and after but, they're both complete sentences. So this sentence is, it can stand on its own. We got to walk around on a glacier. We didn't get to stay very long. These are both complete sentences, and you are joining them with a coordinating conjunction. Then you use a comma. We had a 2-hour layover between planes, comma, and we had to change terminals at LAX. Okay, in these examples that you just saw, the coordinating conjunctions are bolded and the complete sentences they separate are underlined. Again, the rule is very simple. When there is a coordinating conjunction, insert a comma before it. There's a similar exception as with the previous rule. If the whole sentence is very short, you may be able to omit the comma in the middle before the coordinated conjunction. However, again, you will never be wrong to insert the comma, but if you drop it, it might be a problem. Okay, do not insert a comma in front. So this is your comma rule number 3. So far we've got comma rule number 1, which is inserting a comma between an introductory element and the sentence. Comma rule number 2, insert a comma before a coordinating conjunction. And comma rule number 3, do not insert a comma in front of a fanboy when it is not a coordinating conjunction. This rule is almost the opposite of the previous one, but it is a little trickier. So we'll spend a little more time on it. Sometimes you will see and or but in the middle of sentence, but what follows it is not a complete sentence. If what follows the coordinating conjunction is not a complete sentence, then you omit the comma. You do not put the comma in it. So here are some examples. I ran home as quickly as I could, but didn't find my wallet anywhere. You do not put a comma here. I went all over China and never managed to see the Great Wall in Beijing. Do not put a comma here, because the part that is following in the coordinated conjunction is not a complete sentence. I went all over China, a complete sentence. Never managed to see the Great Wall in Beijing, not a complete sentence. So you will not put a comma before. The fanboy word is bolded and the complete sentence before the fanboy is underlined. And the incomplete sentence is bracketed. So the part that's bracketed that you see is not a complete sentence. It is just an independent clause. Okay, so contrast these two sentences and you have, I ran home as quickly as I could, but I didn't find my wallet anywhere. Then you put a comma. Just putting that you have to put a comma because you inserted a subject and this part became a complete sentence. I ran home as quickly as I could, but didn't find my wallet anywhere. Don't put a comma because didn't find my wallet anywhere is not a complete sentence. These two sentences are identical, and the only big difference is the subject. The subject is making the second part a complete sentence. Having a subject is making it. So just be careful about rule number 3, because rule number 3 is a very common error that students make. Okay, so now you have an exercise based on this thing. I will upload this handout. You will get the chance to read through it and then do the exercises that are following it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. All right, take care and enjoy your weekend.